Alrighty, how's everyone doing today? Let's go. Let's make sure we got audio going. Little man's doing better. He had some ear drops. He's good to go. He's feeling a lot better here. I'm hoping at the end, I know you're gonna have some people that are gonna come in here and be like, "Oh my God, you should be doing it. This is going to be for you guys to start to learn. This is part one. This is not like advanced trading, going nuts. This is going to be what you guys can start looking at to be a lot more successful. It's going to be indicators. Today I'm going to show you indicators. They're going to be on TradingView. I am a visual learner, so I like to see what I'm looking at before, tomorrow maybe not tomorrow. I'm hoping tomorrow. I'm going to show you how to read candlesticks, patterns. We're going to look at volume signals, things like that. There's a lot more we're going to get into. By the end of this 4-part series, I'm hoping every single one of you guys know what to look for, know how to be, know what signals to look for, find great stocks, come in the Discord, share with us. Let's all learn together. Let's all find these together. If we have a group, these guys had these hedge funds, all these fucking people we're against. They have pods, they have groups, they have tons of people coming together to do this. If retail can do the same and just do it to get, it's not like we're anything. There's nothing they can do to stop. There's nothing against retail coming together, reading the charts and doing what they do every day, but doing it as a group. There's nothing against that. So for us, it's something that we can start to do to make money. Obviously none of this is guaranteed, but this gives you guys such a bigger leg up. You're not going to feel blind. You're not going to feel lost in the woods. You're not going to be playing option contracts and not know what you're talking about. You sit there. You're not going to sit there with these things and be freaking out and panicking as much. You're going to know resistance levels. You're going to know entry points. You're going to know a lot of stuff. So trying to wait for people to get in. For some reason, this is my slowest YouTube video ever filling up. Usually we have way more than this. All right, I'm going to wait a second. I don't know what's going on. I've never seen just this many people. It's crazy. I don't want to keep going back and doing it again and doing it again. Well, let's share the Discord link for a second. Maybe nobody cares. Maybe nobody wants to learn this. But that's all right. Hold on, I got to turn off streamer fucking view. Let me share the Discord link quick. Turn off streamer mode. I don't know why this turns on every fucking time. Like, stop saving that, dude. Here we go. Discord link. So, whatever, I guess we're going to start. We have 100. People want to start jumping in. They're going to start jumping in. But I'm going to show you guys, like I said, by the end of these videos, you're going to be pretty damn good at trading. You're going to know a lot of what to look for, what to get into. Like I said, entry points, tons of stuff. You're going to be... I can't say you're going to be a lot more successful because obviously there's risk in everything. But you're going to actually know what the hell to look for. Let's just say that. So, instead of paying these people... Here's $300 fucking dollars for something I can do myself. Let's all do it together for free. Otherwise, like I said, you can buy TradingView. I'm going to show TradingView so you can see it visually. Obviously, you're going to need some type of program. Now, one thing I do want to stress for everybody, I am an affiliate with Unusual Whales. You can use anything else. If you want to use Unusual Whales by the end of this video, so you can also have this data, my code is BIGUMS. But again... one thing you're going to learn, there's a reason all of these guys pay for data. There's a reason they pay for as much data as they can possibly get, and there's a reason why they don't want to give you data, and there's a reason why the average Joe feels lost, because he doesn't have data. Data is key, and for what little amount you can spend for how much you can gain is insane on these types of things. Now I'm going to pull up TradingView. Now, Again, this is going to be for people to start to have a reference. If you just joined, this isn't advanced stuff right now. This is going to be stuff to where, all right, you have this base, and off next video, you're going to be able to trade. You should be able to have a pretty good knowledge on what to do, what to look for, different strategies. Now, again, this is my strategy. You guys can do anything you want. You can do different things, but at least I can give you ideas on how to pick a strategy. So let's look at these charts here first. Start looking at all of these indicators. What does this mean? What, a lot of you probably looking at this like, what the hell is all this stuff? This is all insanely important data. Now, I have another, for everyone listening, for people that are more advanced, I have another chart we're going to go over next week. It has 22 indicators. This one only has, I think it only has like 12. But my one has 22, so we're going to add a lot more. I'm going to show you guys how to also chart these on patterns and candles next week, so then you guys can do this without TradingView. You can do it yourself. You can draw the lines. I'm going to show you how everybody draws the lines and all that stuff. We're going to learn that next week, but like I said, this week I want you guys to visually see it, and you can be able to do that through TradingView. You don't have to buy it. So, again, you can always come in Discord and ask me anything, but I'm going to show you where I go and how I start with trades and how I've been hitting a lot lately. I've been hitting quite a bit lately. It's been kind of nice. So, here we go. One of the things here when I pull up these charts, I always set these indicators for short-term trading. Now, one of the things when you are trading, you need to figure out what type of trade you want to get into, what type of trader you're going to be. Now, I am a swing trader at this point. I'm done falling in love. I will never sell my AMC shares. Listen, I'm going to keep on averaging down, and I'm going to keep averaging down with their money. Sweet. It's something that I'm like, all right, AMC is going to I know the time frame. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to keep adding and keep making it to where I don't care. Because if my average gets down to where the price basically is, I could give a fuck less. I'll hold forever. Again, do anything you want to do, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. Like I said, none of this is financial advice. This is just what I do. This is just my personal way of when I think and when I buy and blah, blah, blah. So not financial advice, just so nobody can cry about this later on. But all right, here we go. So we're going to look at this top. Like I said, next week we're going to get into charts. I'm going to show you volume. I'm going to show you how to draw all of this. But let's look at it visually. So the one of the things I like to add, I'm going to go down each indicator, what they mean. You can see them on the chart. I'll make them visible and visible so you can see exactly what we're looking at here. So right now, first thing I'm going to do is Bollinger Bands. Now, as you guys can see, this goes on volatility, okay? So this will tell you when a stock starts to trade outside of its volatility. So this is key information. So what you'll end up seeing is this will tell you trends. So when a stock starts to trade here, hold on, let's pop up here. Let's go over to... Let's get off the daily fucking chart here. So I usually, let's check it out here. All right. So one of the things I like to do when I look at the Bollinger Band is you're going to look for patterns on, let's say it's starting to get big runs. You'll see the Bollinger Band will come outside of it. And on the next candlestick, it stays out a little bit. But then it's going to start to come back down and comes back out one more time. So the trend still continues. But now what always happens is when the stock gets out of the Bollinger Band, when it goes above the Bollinger Band, you know a cool down and a correction period is coming because now it's trading outside of its volatility. Okay, so I add these Bollinger Bands. So now I can see, all right, this looks like it's now going to top soon. Or you can start to see the trend line as well going, all right, well, it looks like it's pulling out. I can now go ahead and see that the trend will continue for a little bit. And when it pops back down, it always corrects back. Now, you can also see this as well when it goes below the Bollinger Band. Now, usually when it goes below the Bollinger Band, for me, that's a buy signal. Because you know when it's trading down... let's get off this. Let me see if I can't find a fucking stock below it. All right, well, of course, I can't think of a stock that's been on a downtrend type lately that had a big recovery. In fact, damn, I can't think of stock off my head right now. I should have picked one out, but whatever. It's the same principle. So when it gets below the Bollinger Band, it's going to correct itself back into the Bollinger Band. So when you pick a stock, and let's say you're doing short-term, long-term trading, these signals mean different things for every type of trading you're going to do. Okay, again, I'm a short-term trader. I like to get options 2-3 weeks out. You guys can get them as long as you want out, and because I'm going to show you whether to get, why I like to get in the monies on certain plays, out of the monies on certain plays, what I look for. Like I said, you guys do whatever you want to do. And again, none of this is financial advice. But again, one of the things I look for is if it's below the Bollinger Band, you're going to have a correction in that stock and you're going to have movement come back in. Now, one of the things here, so that's one of the reasons why I have the Bollinger Band. Again, you can see when it's trading outside or below its volatility. You can see when the trend is going to start to correct itself, whether it's downtrend or an uptrend. So that is what the Bollinger Band does. Now, I'm going to show you next week how to draw this on a chart. But I just want you to, but this is just, so when people sit there and they talk about, man, this resistance level brings this, resistance level brings this, and they sit there and they know that and they draw the shit out. They're basically just doing this. And then they're doing the cloud, which I'll show you guys next. Like I said, we'll show you guys that next week, which show you guys support levels. So then they'll have a resistance level. As you guys can see right now, I just have a resistance level. I didn't want to add too much today. But again, we're going to learn a lot more stuff tomorrow or on our next one. So this is where a lot of the time you will see the next resistance level. So this will tell you when, hey, it's going to top out here, top out there, type situations, when you can enter it. If it breaks this, that means you're going to fly up to this. You got a next resistance level of this. It shows you all the resistance levels coming up, which again can give you a ton of wins. All right, you're about to have a retrace. All right, this is when I should sell. All right, it looks like it's topping out here in less. So you want to add this signal as well with other signals. So when you look at these numbers, that's off a percentage, which we're going to get into next week. Each one of these percentage, you want to match it up with all of the other signals. So let's say that you have, massive bullish signal going into this. Okay, so let's say you're approaching retracement number 1, and all signs are still showing super bullish, and momentum's going. That's when you're probably going to still be able to reach the next one. So it basically, like I said, it shows you each level of resistance until the momentum starts to change. Now, this is how I time a lot of things, and today in Discord, my buddy asked, so one of the things here, it comes with options. We're going to learn the Greeks, theta, all that stuff. When to get in the money. So one of the things that I forgot to do, so I'll do an example quick. I forgot Martin Luther King Day was on Monday, and the market is closed. So when I bought stocks, I got them out of the money for next week, which I'll get a little theta decay because of that. Well, that sucks. So I should have got in the money knowing that, hey, guess what? I'm not going to have theta decay. Now, usually you don't have theta decay if you get in the money because your options are not just backed by time. They're also backed by the value of that purchase and the stock, you're holding on to it. So if you go out of the money, the option's now just backed by time until you get into the money. So that means there's also more risk. So if I see a ton of these bullish signals, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go out of the money. All right, this looks like to me it's going to pop within a week or two. I'm going to go a little out of the money because, like I said, you can do this any way you want. But this is just personally what I do. I'm going to go a little bit out of the money because I can get more contracts because they're going to be cheaper. I'm seeing the trends the signal's showing me. On top of that, like I said, you're going to do TA and stuff. It's not like just go off the signals and all signals are right. But these signals definitely help. And I'm going to show you on the chart, on the price movement, exactly what I'm talking about here in a minute. But I'm just going to explain what each one is first. So, again, this will help you time entries, exits, tons of great things here. So again, I'm hoping to teach you guys as much as possible. Now, a lot of people didn't want to teach you guys all this stuff, don't want to show you all this stuff, because guess what? You're not going to watch their videos anymore. You're not going to need them. I would rather us all come together, have 10,000 fucking people know what the hell they're looking for. They all find stocks that I'm not even looking at, and guess what? We're all killing it together. Isn't that what this is all about? We're all retail. We're all getting fucked. We all got fucked by the same criminals. So let's just fucking come together and beat them at their own game. Let's learn their game together. But you have to do that with data. That is the problem. They have built it to where if you don't have the data to look at, you're not going to know exactly when to get out, when to get in, how to set price limits, all of these things. So again, we're just where are we at here? So we're at this. So this will show you the retracement that we'll get to. I'll get into that next week. But here, let's get back into signals. Now, a lot of these lines are going to be your moving average. Now, one of the things you want to look for when you look on a stock. So you got your 20-day, 50-day, and 200-day. Now, this is going to be your short-term, medium-term, and long-term signals. Are they bullish? Are they above it? You're going to look at, are you above the, sorry, give me 1 second here. Just took Murphy for a run. I'm still catching my breath. Freaking nuts. All right, so when you're above the EMAs, that's a bullish signal. When you're below the EMAs, it's a bearish signal. Now, another thing I'll add is the MAs, moving averages, and I also like to add the EMAs. Now, it adds a lot more data. It's more up to date, so I like to have that as well. Now, as you guys can see here on the short day, what are we at? On this thing is actually got where are we at? We're on the daily. So on the daily momentum now, you're coming on the EMAs are coming into a bullish signal. I like to look at weekly. Let me pull up weekly. I like to look at weekly more because I trade more in the weekly. Let's see here. God damn, this fucking thing does this. I really fucking hate TradingView. Absolutely fucking hate it. Alright. It's like it always pulls me way the fuck over here, and you're like, great, I have to pull it back over. It's the dumbest fucking thing. So again, I'm not recommending using TradingView, but whatever. But okay, so on the weekly here, you got your MAs, your moving averages, EMAs. As you guys can see, in the short term, for the weekly, you're above your long term 200. You're above. Like as you guys can see, this thing's a piece of trash. It likes. Yeah, there we go. Hey-oh, we did it. It loaded all three numbers this time. Sorry, no, it's not doing it on the MAs. Okay, this is why I hate fucking TradingView. Again, it's trash. So, again, back to this. Now, when you're above your 200, your 20, and your 50-day, that means, short-term, mid-term, you got bullish numbers, you're feeling good, that's a bullish signal. You want more than just that. You need tons and tons of bullish signals before you're like, all right. And on top of that, you can see momentum, you can see buy opportunities, you can see when momentum changes, which we'll get into all that in a second. So again, when you pull up these stocks, you want to look at something for over their MAs. If you're going to go for something long-term in the monthly, 2-monthly type area, you're looking towards the 200. If you're looking for a couple-week trade, maybe a week-long trade, you want to look at the 20-50. And same with the EMAs. If you're looking towards a short-term trade, if you're looking towards, a couple weeks, you're looking towards the 12-26. If you're looking for the long-term, 50-200, same type of thing. So whatever type of trade you are doing, will depend on what numbers you're looking at. But just think on the MAs, the lower the number, the short term, the higher the number, long term. Super easy. So again, you want to look at a stock that is bullish here, bullish on the EMAs. Now, if it's, bullish on one, bearish on the other, but then it's got a ton of other bearish signals. It's one bullish signal is not like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Especially when you get into RSI and being into oversold or overbought or oversold territory. Because if momentum keeps on going, you can stay in overbought or oversold for a long time. But you want to look at the strength of the momentum. That is why I'm showing you these indicators. All of these indicators play off of each other. They all you want to watch each one of these chart, and they all tell you a story together. And that story is very, very telling. It's very telling. So where are we at right now? So next thing we're going down to, so you got your RSI. This is your strength. This is going to be when you want to look at your levels here now. So as you guys can see, blue chart is going to be your signal. This is going to be your average. Now, as you guys can see, we've crossed into a bearish signal on the RSI onto the downtrend. But it's cooling down. See, one of the things with RSI that you want to look at is if it's above 70, you're in overbought territory. If it's below 30, you're in oversold territory. Now, when you're in the middle, it's neutral. Now, anything between the 30 and 70 is neutral. Now why this matters? Let's say here this, let me find a better chart. I wish I saw one that was like, hold on, I think, God damn it, what's the other one we played today? Hold on. What do I have up here? Oh, right. All right, right. Pull up right, pull up the weekly. I'm pretty sure right had it. Okay. RSI. So, as you guys can see, RSI, when it starts to reach overbought territory, when it starts to get into that high overbought territory, you can start to expect a correction. So one of the things you want to look at is, all right, right now we have you want to watch this is basically your average, okay? So whenever this blue line, that's going to be your signal line. This is your average line. So whenever you see it start to cross, that means strength coming, as you can see above on the chart. We crossed the average. You now have a bearish signal popping. Hey, buy. Boom, it went up. It went up. As you can see, you're in overbought territory. It went down. It went down. And it started, you now see that it went down to a bullish signal. And it kept dropping back into neutral territory. Now, why does this matter? Usually this can tell you how much a stock can run, how much it will, before it has a cool down. If you start to see a bearish cross, a bearish trend, a bullish trend. Let me make sure I'm looking into chat too, just to make sure. If you do have a question, just go ahead and ask. I'm trying to make this as simple as I can. Like I said, this is going to be, base one, but if you have these signals, again, this is going to help you immensely. So again, as you guys can see back on RIOT, I told people, RIOT on the weekly is looking good because now you're crossing. When I said it, we were crossing into bullish, bullish territory here. And you're in you're in a pretty good neutral zone. So you have a lot of room to run. You have a lot of room to run before you get into overbought territory. So what I like to do is when I look for a stock for, a week or two options out, what I like to do is I go for, something that's below, towards the bottom, below 50, because it's going to have a pretty good way to run before it gets to overbought territory. Buddy. Why are you always chewing on something you shouldn't be chewing on? Sorry. So that it's got a big way to run into overbought territory. So you want to look for a stock that has very low, that is crossing into bullish, over into bullishness. And then hey, all right, we got a bullish trend coming, bullish signal. This is usually when you're going to have a run. As you can see here, you crossed, you had a bullish thing, you moved up, you crossed here. You had a bullish signal, price moved, it got farther away, and then it got into overbought territory. Once again, you hit the overbought territory zone, price went above the Bollinger Band. So if you see something that goes out of the Bollinger Band and then it hits overbought territory, you can see the correction is going to come to get back within to the Bollinger Band. So when this hit right here, you saw it leave the band, you saw it hit overbought, and you could go to yourself, all right, more than likely there's a correction coming. Okay, you can also look at this indicator, which we'll get into next, but you could see that that was changing directions as well. You could see the average met with the current moving. I'm sorry. God damn it. So, I'm losing myself right now. Hold on a second. I was trying to get into something before and I was losing myself because I just missed something. What was I just getting at before this? I hit overbought here. I hit out of the Bollinger Band. That corrected back. I just saw. I'm sorry. I was looking down below. I was getting on the Mac 10 here because the histogram level. I'm sorry. I looked at that wrong. So on top of that, you just got another bearish signal here. So you got a bearish signal there coming down into overbought. You got a bearish signal down here. You could see on the histogram, which we'll get into next, the power, the level, the strength was starting to move down, which tells you you're going to start to have less and less momentum, which you could again interpret, all right, this is going to drop. Now, on top of that, we'll get into these signals as well here. But again, so once you start to put all of these together, you can see that this is why I want you guys to learn these indicators. If you're going to get TradingView, these are the best ones to me to put down. Next week, we're going to add about 5 to 6 more. You can add the Ecomote. I can't remember what the hell it's called. I can't say his name. It's like the Ecomote cloud. I say it wrong every time. So it's the cloud. Just type in cloud. You'll see it right away. That will show you your support levels. But then again, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to do these on like I said, if you don't have to have TradingView, whatever you use, whatever your platform is, these indicators are, to me, the best indicators to see on what's more likely going to happen, along with TA, along with watching the flow, which we'll get into, along with looking at news for the company. One of the reasons why I tell people to come into my Discord all the time is inside of my Discord here, I have bots that we created. I check 14 sources for news articles every day on stocks. This bot that we put in there, it's free. Like I said, everybody come in my Discord. It's free. You can use this stuff. You can go, hey, I like a ticker. Type in the ticker. Type in news. Oh, hold on. Type in, that was it. Oh, wait, /news. You can either use Unusual Whales because I'm sponsored by Unusual Whales, so you can use Unusual Whales ticker, or you can use the one that we created as well. And the one we created as well, for let's say AMC, it will go in. Why in the? All right, whales, man. Sorry. We can't do news from whales, so we got this. But what you can do on the whales is you can look at the option flow. Normally it's not this slow, but as you guys can see, let's just look at this. So what you guys can do is it'll pull up every single news article coming up with the stock. Look at the sentiment. It'll show you a lot of information coming up on a lot of these stocks. But what you can do is look at the news, and it'll show you events coming up. You know, things that could be coming out, releases that could be coming out for these guys in a couple months. And then what you want to do is you'll look at these types of these events and go, all right, in a month, this is coming out. But as you guys can see on signals, everything's looking bearish. It looks like everything's looking like it's going to have a sell-off. Well, guess what? That's probably going to be shitty news. Well, hey, this company's got news coming out in a week, 2 weeks, and you can look at the sentiment of the market and go, okay, well, obviously the market, because they know before you do. They know before you do. So the key is to figure out and watch the signals on what they're doing before, your average Joe that doesn't have this information figures out it's already dropped 50% on them and they're bag holders. And now they're going, well, I love this stock because I have to have it jump. I have to have it come back. But that's the thing. If you don't have the data for all this stuff, again, it's like the disadvantage it gives people is unbelievable. It is ridiculous. But hey, you got to pay to play the game, just like that's why they're fucking rich. And that's why they have access to dark pool and everything else known to man. But again, so let's get back into setting up setups, reading charts. So again, what we just go to? All right. So again, from that, what was I just? Oh yeah, I was on the RSI. So the RSI, this tells you once it hits 70 or above, it's oversold, overbought. Get out. Get ready to get out. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily, but it's a signal to say, all right, get ready. It could correct. Not get out. Let me rephrase that. Get ready. There could be a correction coming. Now, just because this goes into oversold, it's one signal. I can't express that enough. It's one signal. If this goes into oversold, but momentum is flying up on the charts, your strength of the momentum, which we're going to get into all these numbers here, is flying up on the charts. You can stay in overbought for a while. It's about riding the momentum in the overbought territory, and you will be able to see other signals weakening. This is why the MACD is important and the histogram is important below it or above it. When you start to see the histogram start to go down, that's the power, that's the strength of the sediment. But what you want, you'll still see, hey, it's positive. Let's before I get into that. But you'll still see it's positive when it's over 0. You'll still see, you'll see on the graphs, if you use TradingView, it'll be below it. It'll be red. It'll be green above. You can be below. So let's say it's below it and it's red, and all of a sudden it's below it and it's turning green. That means momentum is starting to change. And, you could start to see a shift there. But again, that's what those charts means. This I'm going to get into in a second because, again, I'm getting one little graph ahead of ourselves. So again, this will show you overbought, oversold. You want to look for a stock that's in the oversold territory for whatever type of trading you're doing. Now, when it's in oversold, you want to watch it. Watch as it rises. Watch as it rises. When it starts to get close, again, this is where you can also start to, all right, we're getting close to this. I can take profits. I can do this, whatever you want to do. Exercise, whatever you want to do at this point. So again, just be aware. This is when you start to get towards those levels. Just put your alert signals on, as what I guess I'm saying. When it starts to get below these levels, it's time to really be paying attention to that stock. Why the fuck does this keep doing that? There. Now you can see. I don't know why that was. Like I said, I hate TradingView. It just resets stuff all the time. So it's like, if there's someone out there that has a better one than TradingView, let me know. Because this one pisses me off, dude. All the time. Godzilla, thank you. I appreciate it, my friend. But now we can see the chart better. Now you can actually see what I'm explaining. I apologize. I didn't realize it reset into clown mode here. So again, now we can see again. So again, so on your daily, let's say you're doing your daily trade, you're doing your hourly trade, you guys can see it. All right, hourly RGTI, you're starting to get into oversold territory. You're in neutral. Well, sediment sucks ass. Sediment went from in towards the hour when you saw, so like here, perfect, here you go, perfect. RGTI's hourly price right here. This will show, this is actually a really good way to look at this and to learn. All right, so you guys can see below, you had your indicators. Your RSI was below. It was an oversold. You could see your static oscillator is below. It's an oversold. So what happened? The price rose. The price rose. The price rose. And next thing you notice, you got into oversold territory. You got closer to oversold territory. And there you go. You have your correction. Back into neutral zones. Back into neutral zone. Well, it's trying to. It's still technically overbought. But you guys can come down and look and see if the strength of momentum is slowing down. It's slowing down. It's slowing way down. Now, when this gets to 25, that means that a lot of people, what they'll look for as, like, let's say a stock jumps really hard. I'll get into this one here in a second. Let's say a stock jumps really hard. There'll be bull traps, bear traps, whatever you want to see. let's say it jumps real hard in one direction. You can see by using the ADX the strength of that candle, the true strength of that candle. Let's say it jumps down below 20, okay? So if you're below 25, yeah, it's 20, 25. No, it is 20. I'm stupid. If it gets below the 20, gets into, no, it is 25. I'm stupid, sorry. If it gets below the 25 range, that means that, all right, it might have been a giant candle, but it wasn't strong conviction. It wasn't strong backing. It might have been a fill. It might have been a quick option, type thing. It's not backed by a ton of shares, a ton of people that are in a position to hold for a long time. But when you start to see it get into these type levels, well, you can see right here, you have a sell-off, right? So you can see it's starting to sell off, start selling off. You can see the momentum is still selling off, selling off, selling off. Well, look at it's going higher and higher and higher and higher. This is strong conviction. You can see this continue to go up, and you're thinking to yourself, well, if this is tons of true sell-off in this hour, it's going to continue that pattern until you start to get that to decrease. Okay? Now you can see it's going back up. Momentum, the sell-off momentum, you can see the sell-off momentum is starting to shift. It's starting to wear down. The strength is now being able to be overtaken by shares. As you can see, the strength now, because you can see it went into overbought territory. It sold off, hit overbought territory. And now momentum stopped. And then buying started. Buying is now able, because momentum of the bearish momentum is slowing down. You now have buying outpacing the momentum. So your ADX can tell you the strength on this stuff, and if it's all right, like let's say this started happening. Let's say right here, just to help you understand easier. Let's say right here, okay? You're in the stock right now. Let's say you're like, crap. I kind of had it come down here. Am I going to take gains here? Let's say you only had a call option for blah, blah, blah. Let's say you had it for the 13th, the 14th. You were panicking. You're like, should I sell? Should I take gains now? What should I do? Well, if you were right here, you could see the momentum was increasing on the bearishness. And it was getting very powerful. So you could have assumed it was going to drop again. Well, it dropped again for it's just one whole day. But again, it all depends on your options. You always want to look at the momentum. Well, this is your hourly. But, your thing, we'll get into a lot of... I keep forgetting I'm switched from weekly here. But, again, I mainly trade off weekly and daily because I do 2 weeks, 3-week option calls and then swing them. So, but again, take this type of knowledge, this type of these bands, this type of indicators, and it goes with all type of trading. So again, sorry if I say the wrong chart I'm on for a second. But again here, let's switch back to weekly. Fucked up on that. Alright. So now, usually when I'm doing weekly trading, so right now what I'm going to look for is this is going to be, so RGI, oh, this is, dude, this thing's driving me nuts. Thank you. Like, good grief, dude. Alright, so when I'm looking at this data, I'm looking at these trends, I'm looking at these signals. I think this is so stupid. I'm watching this, let's say I'm doing, 2-week calls. I'm going to wait until this A gets out of overbought. Okay, what the hell, this did it again. Jesus. There. I don't know why this is doing that. Like I said, if you have TradingView, it's a piece of trash. And you're going to do this 1,000 times a day, I swear to God. So, back to the weekly. It drives me nuts, dude. Alright. Where was I at? Now I'm all messed up. See, and then it also removed 3 of my indicators. See what I'm saying? This thing is such a piece of trash sometimes. It drives me nuts, dude. Hey, they're back. Oh yeah, holy crap, the indicators are back. Hey, we can read the chart. Okay, sorry. Now let's get back into this. Now that we can read this, and like I said, the trading view is garbage, man. I really fucking hate it. But again, let's get back into. So I told everybody, RIOT looks good. You know, I like RIOT on the weekly. I like it on the monthly. We got into it when it was down to about here. All of our signals were looking good. You know, we moved back up. We had a big jump earlier today, but then, you know, it kind of went down throughout the. But I'm thinking next week is when I think RIOT will move. One of the things I like to do is look for things with a lot of bullish signals. So you still have a bullish signal here. So you still have a bullish signal here. You still have a bullish cross here on the RSI. So you can, again, see a quick jump within the next week or two, I believe. On top of that, you still see the histogram now on the MACD. This is going to be your strength level, okay? Look at it, did it again. And then it just converges them. It is like the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Hey, it's working. Like I said, I hate this thing, dude. It'll just convert stuff. Like, it is so ridiculously retarded. It is insane. Okay. Back to this. Now, as you guys can see, RIOT is still in the neutral zone. It still has room to run. You just got a bullish signal. You just had a bullish cross on your stochastic oscillator. Now, this has room to run still before this gets into oversold territory. On top of that, your histogram, which means the strength of your conviction, the momentum is starting to change. It's getting, again, more bullish. As you guys can see, when this thing is above 0, this is a bullish signal. So you have a bullish signal on momentum. It's separating. Okay. You're starting to see separation right here. You can see the line. You can see the line starts to separate, and you can see that you're getting bigger and bigger graphs. Histogram's getting stronger. When you start to see that, that means you're starting to get more bullish momentum. Now, that bullish momentum, as you can see, this is your strength index. Below, up until this point, your momentum's been, all right, maybe it's there, but it hasn't been super strong conviction. It hasn't been super strong right volume. It hasn't been, it hasn't been stock. It hasn't been long positions. It's been bullish positions open, but maybe short term. Now what's happening is you're getting the long term. You're getting more conviction. You're getting more people having, because you're now reached 25. When you break 25, again, this is strong conviction. I hate that you're now at, you're at about 28. You're at 28.98. Sorry. You're 28.93%, okay? So you're at 29%, which means you have strong conviction, which means you're seeing the bounce, and I expect a bounce here because you have a bullish crossover. You have a bullish crossover. You're still in neutral territory. You're in neutral territory. On top of that, if you look up here, you're above your EMAs. You're above all your EMAs, which is a bullish signal. You're above your MAs, your moving averages, which is a bullish signal. So I have a bullish signal on my moving average. I have a bullish signal on my EMAs. I have a bullish signal on my MACD. I have a bullish signal and a bullish crossover on my stochastic oscillator, and I have a bullish crossover on my RSI, my relative strength index, which, again, that tells me on the weekly there can be definitely movement next week on RIOT. Now, I believe that you're seeing that because if Trump takes over on Tuesday, or when Trump takes over on Tuesday, he keeps talking about cryptos. On top of that, you're seeing Bitcoin jump. You're seeing Ethereum jump. You're seeing these cryptos start to move. So what's going to move with it? Miners. So people are naturally assuming miners are going to move with all these crypto changes that are going to come in, and you're starting to see bullish signals on RIOT. So now I have an event play. I have bullish crossovers. I have momentum gaining in my bullish crossover, It's still not overbought. It's now above 25, which means the strength of that momentum is getting stronger and stronger. On top of that, you see you're not outside of the Bollinger Band, which means you can still move before you get out of the Bollinger Band. The Bollinger Band can also increase or decrease with volume. So again, what you want to look at is volume. Look at the volume on the weekly, see if it's going up. You see the volume trending up and up. Those are what you want to see. You want to see stronger highs, lower lows. And you're seeing a lot of this with RIOT. Like I said, I feel good about RIOT. Maybe I'm going to get, from this point on, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. If you look at your retracement level currently on the week, you're above your, so you still don't have another resistance till about 14.11 again. And with momentum going the way it can, you might not have resistance again till 14.72. Which again, if you get about a $13 call, which I can't, like I said, that's just one way you could potentially profit off it. But you see what I'm saying? And that's the thing. What I've learned when I'm started to become swinging these options, swinging all this stuff, over, you're in this thing for a week or two. You don't have to hit $1,000. You don't have to hit $500. You can hit, 30, 40% buy a contract for, $100, $200, hit $90, walk away happy because you were in the trade for fucking 1 day, 2 days. Do that a couple times, because right now, one of the things a lot of people do incorrectly, or one of the things I see a lot of, people starting out doing correctly, you can use indicators. I mean, you can do these indicators work for everything. You can do small cap or large cap with these. You're not too dumb to use indicators. Like I said, just watch what all these are. Easy breakdown. Bollinger Band is going to be based off volume. When you break the Bollinger Band, that means you're exceeding outside of your volume. There's a correction coming. If you go below the Bollinger Band, that means that there's going to be a rise. You're going to raise back into the Bollinger Band. That's a perfect buy opportunity. RSI is your strength index. If you're above 70, that means you're in overbought territory. If you're 30 or below, you're in oversold, which if you're in oversold, you're going to have a correction coming. The stochastic oscillator, this is another thing. It goes ahead and looks at, again, strength, momentum. If this is in 30, if it's below 30, you're in oversold territory. If you're above 70, you're in overbought. If you have both of these in overbought territory, you're going to have a correction coming most likely. If you have both of these below 30, there's more than likely going to be a correction towards the upward. Now, that's not always, again, you have to match this with other signals. If you have momentum going downwards, if you have all these other things going down, just because these are oversold, if momentum is... So you want to match these signals with momentum, and that's what you want to see. It's all about basically what I'm showing you is how high is the momentum? How strong is the momentum each direction? When does that momentum become oversold? When does that momentum become overbought? When does that momentum break the volatility attached to the current momentum? When does it get below the volatility of the current momentum? And that is what this is all about. Hitting those bottoms, hitting those tops, watching to when it's about to go, breaks volatility, watching when it's in the middle of volatility, watching when it's oversold, watching when it's, turning into bearish, and watching the strength behind the movement. That is what all of this is showing you. I've saved my settings 1,000 times. They're all on there. I have more settings on my other stupid account. It's just stupid. I just hate this platform, but whatever. I'm probably doing something stupid that I'm not figuring out yet, but here, we'll figure it out eventually here. But again, all of these signals are insanely important. And this is what they use, and this is what they see. They see when the momentum's starting to increase. They see when the momentum in the back end is decreasing. They see the resistance levels. Okay, so they see all these Fibonacci retracement levels. They know them all, and they're going to time them. And that's what this is all about. As we learn in the market, they spend how much money for nanoseconds. A nanosecond matters. So all this data, like I said, it's not that expensive. You could pay for this data quickly. You could do it in one trade, very quickly. It's like $25 on this to get this with like 10 indicators or 15 indicators or whatever the hell it is. This, if you get this and use my discount coupon, it's like $20. You can spend $45. My Discord's free. You will make that in one trade. If you do everything correctly, you should make that in one trade. And this goes both ways. So if I see indicators going bullish signals, guess what you can do? Buy calls. If you see them starting to hit bearish signals, guess what you can do? Buy puts. If you see it starting to hit bearish and oversold, you can get the fuck out. Overbought, you can get out and time your things and actually make money on your contracts instead of buying it because you listen to somebody and you're driving blind and you're nervous and you don't know what's going to happen. When you see these signals and you're watching it, you should have an idea on where it should lead to. So even on days like today, like my RGI, we got calls, yesterday? They're $11 for a couple weeks out. I still feel good about RGI. We got it. Unfortunately, should have fucking paid attention more. should have paid a little attention more. But we bought in on the strength level. Wait, no, what do you mean? We did good. No, I should have done it on the daily. This is, hold on. So when the hell do we get it? We got it in at 10:58. So we got in about right here. I got in right here. Because I saw this coming down, and it went out of overbought into this and started spiking, and I thought I could ride it up again. And then I saw this was starting to come back down. This started to equal out, which when that starts to equal out and hit the overbought or oversold territory, which you could see here, we saw it hit the oversold territory. Then it started to correct. So we got it at a good point. Now, you're starting to see on the daily again, you had a bullish cross. You're now still in the oversold. So again, you have tons of room to run here. You had a bearish movement come over, but you're starting to see it starting to, it's still equal. So you could see a correction here next week right away. You still have bullish sign here, 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 here on all your MAs. So daily, the chart looks great. Weekly, the chart looks good because you're still bullish on all of those indicators as well. What the fuck is going on? Why is this? See what I'm saying? And then it doesn't load it. It's just this. You're in the neutral. You're in neutral. You have separation. It's cooling down. But you have this is slowing down, so momentum will slow down a little bit for a second. But you can still see the momentum strength is still very fucking high. It's still super strong. So I still believe that you can go ahead and see a recovery here next week easily with RGI next week. And that's just off signals. I'm going to chart it out and do some more things. But again, these indicators will help you a long way. They'll help you go a long way. And then on top of that, what do we got going down here? So again, this is going to be your momentum. So think of MD
M, momentum. This is your momentum. How strong is your momentum? Is it above 0? Is it below? Is it starting to gain separation from the average? That's what you want to look for in your MACD. And then on top of your MACD, you want to look at the histogram here. You want to see this is how powerful this momentum is starting to become. So when you start to see the histogram start to move up, you know the strength behind the momentum is going to start to rise too. So you want to watch your graph, and you want this to stay above 0. So you have a bullish signal on your momentum here. You're still above 0. You see that it went up. You see you had momentum, and it was, the same momentum, but then you saw a slight raise, which means momentum is gaining. On top of that, you saw a bullish crossover here, and you see a bullish crossover here, which again on the weekly shows you should see movement next week right away. And on top of that, the momentum, the strength of that momentum down below, it's above 25, but it's actually rising up to 29, which means the momentum's getting stronger. How much you making a month on trades these days? What did we make last month? Are you asking me with crypto too? With crypto, I made about almost 3,000. I made like 3,300. With just stocks and just trades, we made like 25 around. I made like 2,500, which I'm not sitting here saying, hey, come do this and you're going to make tons of money, but there's a good way to start to build a base. And I mean, I did that in a week, dude. I did that in a week. Like, that was sweet. And it's like, after using all of these, using these signals, starting to use this information, it's like, even if if I can make it $2,000 a month, I'm jacked on the side. That's a lot of fucking diapers, dude. But on top of that, here's the thing: is the way when you do this type of style, and you start to gain $80 here, 120 here, you can start to buy more contracts. And when you get these out of the money contracts, and you get these small moves, well, guess what? You had 9 contracts, and you were out of the money, which means you had more risk attached. So if you time it right and do it you do it with these signals, now you made $1,000 on one trade because you had 9 contracts. So the way you do this, the smartest way to do it is, again, not financial advice, but the smartest way that I found out is, all right, do some contracts. I took $300, $400. And I was like, all right, I'm going to use this on only trading options. I'm going to look at these signals. I'm going to follow the flow. Now, it's not like I just use just these signals. These signals, I use these right away. Then I'll go chart it out. So then the next thing I'll do, I'll come over here. I'll look at the chart. We'll look at the chart. We'll look at the candles. We'll look for patterns. We'll look at the historical movement. We'll get into that next time. Again, I don't want to throw too much at you guys on the first day, and also next thing you're like, what the fuck? I'm hoping you guys can look at this information here and read it and look at me and say, all right, RG on the weekly, it's still positive sentiment, but the sentiment's weakening. Okay? You're now but now that it's weakening, you're also went from overbought into neutral. So of course it's weakening. Of course it's weakening. Logically, that makes sense. But now we're back down to basically completely neutral territory. Okay? You should speak in percentages. We don't know how much you put into these trades. What do you mean? Like how much do I average? How much does one of my average contracts cost? Do you mean, or what do you mean by that? Should speak in percentages. We don't know how much you put into these. Speak in percentages of what? Like 50%, 60% on trades? I mean, if I get 60, 80% on a trade quick in 2 days and I flipped it, I'm not mad. I'm going to be jacked because guess what? If I still see it going on, I can re-enter and look for a re-entry point. Because a lot of the times, you'll have a stock in a week. Look at the weekly stock chart. You'll have highs and lows that if you played the highs and lows just throughout the week, you don't have to be a daily trader. I don't day trade. I I make sure that I have a great signal for the week, and I'll buy on Tuesday, and maybe I'll sell Thursday. But I made $100 per contract on that trade, and I'm jacked. Sweet, I just made $700 so that's 7 contracts, and it didn't cost me that much. So it's all about, a lot of the times though, when we do these out of the money contracts, if I'm going to do these short term ones, I'll do out of the money. So it's like when you hit that out of the money and it goes into the money, it's like you get that extra boost. So you'll end up getting those 120, 110% real quick, 130%. If I make 130% on a trade and it's been 1 or 2 days, I'm fucking jacked. I'm going to keep watching the signals, but I'm not going to get greedy because, again, you can watch the signals on the daily candle. You can watch the signals. All right. You can watch it on the hourly. You can watch it on the daily. Check out your hourly. You can see, have a sense on what's going to happen. In a sense on what's going to happen at this point. Okay, let's see here. So hourly, you're oversold as fuck. Your stochastic oscillator is now oversold as fuck. Momentum, but problem is momentum is gaining. But you can see the momentum that's gaining is actually, it's starting to level out, which means it could turn around pretty quick. You're also now getting a bearish crossover signal here. This is below you, so this is this is bullish here because you're now getting, you're gonna eventually, you're gonna have a bullish crossover here at some point. Maybe not. I can see RGTI moving up in the next hour. It'll probably go to like 1025, 1035 to finish the day, something like that. But as you can see, it's super neutral, so it has plenty of room once it starts to regain momentum. What you're also seeing is you're getting towards the bottom of the Bollinger Band. So when this gets outside of the Bollinger Band, you usually have a correction up back towards the middle of the Bollinger Band. So again, I can see this in the next hour going up 25, 30 cents. And that's the thing. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I can't answer that question because it's 100% contract. It's 100% your cost. Did you do a limit order? Did you go at the ask? Did you go at the bid? Did you go in the middle of them? There's so many factors that go into your contract. I can't tell you. Your contracts, even if you buy the same contract that I buy, if you buy it seconds later, it's not going to be the same. It's all about what you got your price at. It's all about what you got your price at. So I can't answer that type of question. But one of the things, so it's like once you see all of these things, so again, this is coming close to the Bollinger Band, coming outside of the Bollinger Band. You're still, well, you got below your EMAs. So that is a No, you didn't. You're still in bullish. So you're still bullish short term. You're bullish short term, but you're no longer bullish long term. So you now have bullish short term, but you just switched to bearish long term. On your MAs, your EMAs, you're still bearish on them all. So you have bearish signal. So yeah, this could go either way. This could go either way in the hour. But you're getting so oversold and getting this cross. I still see a movement coming up, and this is flattening out. So I still see a movement. And like I said, I think you'll end up at about 1042. I'm sure that's right around fucking, what's it called? I'm sure that's right around max pain there. So what I'll do is I'll look for these indicators. So if I see a stock, I'll look for these indicators. I'll look for it being towards the oversold. You want to look down here. I want to see, is momentum down and is it changing? Is it getting bigger or is momentum starting to slow down? I'm looking also here. What is the strength of the momentum? Is it above 25? If it's below 25, that means it's one of those bull flags. It's a bull flag. They're setting you up. It's a bear flag. It's a trap. They're trying to set you up. So it could have a quick drop. So usually when I see these giant candles and I'll see this not go above 25, it'll stay about around these areas, I'll get fucking puts. I'll get fucking puts for like 3 days away. And you'll watch it drop and you'll there you go. You made some money. The signals, when you start to read the signals, the crossovers, when you start to see what all these things matching, you have 14 signals and 12 or 13 of them are bullish. Well, guess what? You're feeling good about that stock. When they all suddenly switch to bearish, you have 13 signals bearish. It's time to get puts. Hedge your position. If you have a call, wait a second, watch it drop down. And if you see it switching back, then get, reposition your calls. Get some more calls to average down your call positions. There's things you can do to where, all right, well, I'm going to lose out on this, but here's the comeback. Let me get back in, ride it back up, equal it out, hedge my stop, hedge my losses. And that's what they do with the big boys. So again, we're going to get into a lot more stuff next time. But I just wanted people to understand what I'm looking at in graphs. When I pull up a graph, this is the first thing I look at. This is what I'm seeing. I have my other chart, which is a lot more, like I said, it has 22 indicators. We'll go over all 22 next time. But you're going to see tons of charts, buy signals. I got tons of things that I'll add on to it. But these Bollinger Bands, if you're going to have 5 indicators on your chart, or if you have any kind of indicators on your chart, Bollinger Band, RSI, stochastic oscillator, MACD, and I would say your EMAs, 12, 16, 50, 200 EMAs. Those would be the ones I'd put. Obviously, have your volume on there. But volume will play another story too. We'll talk about that. But I just wanted you guys to get a sense on what I'm looking at. Again, here's my RIOT chart on the weekly. You got your crossover. You got your crossover. You're still neutral. You're still neutral. You still got a ways to run. A ways to run. Strength is coming. Strength is coming. As you can see on your histogram rising. You can see separation here on your MACD. You can also see the strength is going farther and farther above 25. And this, my friends, I forgot to show you the last one. Okay? This one's important too. As you guys can see, this will show you. I'm just going to tell you what this one will show you, and then we'll go over it. This is going to show you trends and reversals and the deviations. So basically, when you see this, starting, because what the sense is higher, when stocks have high things, they'll bring, big candles, they'll bring big low candles right after, correctional candles soon enough. So what you guys can see here is when you come and look down here and you look up at the stock price at the top, you can see it's hitting a red candle. And then you can see it's dropping at a pretty steady rate, okay? What you want to do when you use this thing, because this will help you time entry points and exit points as well. When you see this thing start to do it, a dip or a reversal. Let's say you currently have, momentum's negative, and then you see it switching. So instead of rising, it switches down. The second it switches down, here's your entry point, okay? Here's your entry point. The second you see the switch. Once it starts to correct, you can see the stock rises, as it drops. But the second it starts to level out, guess what happens? Sell off. Now it's starting to correct. As you can see, it starts to rise again. So as you can see, you watch these indicators, and as you can see it changing, either dropping or rising. What? Okay. All right, sorry.
as you can see that as it's about to spike, you can time, when it's going to reverse. This is how you can time reversals. This is how you can time, how long as it still goes up and up and up. This can tell you how much longer the current pattern is going to go. How long the current pattern is going to go. As it's staying flat but rising slowly. Slow rise, slow rise, slow rise. And correction. And a giant spike, and look, above. And see right here, a lot of people would have sold off right around there when they saw this sell-off. But if you had this information, you would have saw it was going to continue to rise and rise and rise and rise, and boom. You had a slow decline. It's all about the decline. The second you start to see the decline or the ascend, that is what you want to time. That is your indicator. That is your signal. All right. Momentum's changing in the opposite direction. And you have time. Like I said, this is weekly. So it's like you have time. It's not like you see this on the chart and you're like, fuck, I had 3 seconds to react. You know what I mean? So you'll start to see the momentum change. You can see it on the hourly, the daily, the hourly, whatever you want to watch as you're trading this. You will see the momentum start to change. As you can see on the stock, start to rise, ascend. Watch what the stock's currently doing. Look at your deviation. And again, momentum will be ascending or descending based off current price movement. Okay, now, is there anything anybody wants to know about this that we've gone over? Otherwise, the other thing I like to do is I'll come over to unusual whales and I will look at the flow of calls and puts. What I like to do also is I'll pull up this, I'll sort it by the size of the premium, because obviously big money likes to move stocks. So I'll look at if you're seeing bearish settlement, bullish settlement. Well, today for RGI, you're seeing a lot of bearish settlement by big money. Guess what's happening? See, a lot of times people look at the call put volume, but it's like you also got to look at how much is being spent on those. Because while you're seeing, more premiums being bought, you're also seeing more in call or more in puts than calls. And guess what's happening today? It's going down. Now, a lot of these things, what I like to do is I'll look at these big bids, I'll look at these big calls, and well, we're going to get in a ton into unusual whales next time, but I'll look over and I'll come over here and check out, all right, well, when do these end? 35 days. Okay. So these guys are betting in the next month. They're super in the money. Super in the money. They might just be riding, a call for those 35 days. So these don't look at anything where it's like, what I want to look for is calls around, a ton of calls around the current stock price. Or I'll look for unusual size calls. Like, let's say this was like a $10 million call. I'd be like, why the fuck does somebody have so much confidence to spend $10 million on a call or this? They obviously have insider information. They have knowledge. So by watching the flow, you can also pretty much tell which way it's going to go too. So when you see a stock with really good flow, bullish all the way down, maybe you have bullish all the way up, you see one or two bearishes, and you see tons of premium being spent, and you look at the date and it's within 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Well, guess what? Market makers are going to have to hedge for that. They're going to have to go out and buy stock. Guess what's going to happen? You can ride that flow. You can buy, why they go out and buy the stock? You're banking off it. So you look at the flow, you look at all of your indicators, you pull up the candles, you look at the chart patterns, which we're going to get into next time. I'm going to show you how to draw all the fancy lines from everybody. And then, again, you also want to pair it with news. Is there any upcoming news? Is there any news that just came out? Type of situations like that. Events. One of the reasons I like RIOT is I think Donald Trump is going to be very pro-crypto.
I think and on top of that, I think crypto's jumping because a lot of people agree with me, and I believe that RIOT's attached to crypto. Obviously, it's a crypto miner. So the more these things go up, the more they have in their holdings, the more they're worth, the more money they made. So you want to look for events like that. What stocks would they affect? And then you go look at those stocks, and then other people are going to try them, and then you start to use your indicators and you find your entry points, and then you find that's how you get into these entry points correctly. You use your retracements, you know which level assigns the resistance, and then you get your cloud, and you know what sides you got on support. So you can find your support levels, and if it hits this, you'll get to this. Like I said, we'll go over that next time, so you guys will be able to look at a chart and be like, all right, I have support here, so even if it does this, I can set a stop loss if you want. You know where to set a stop loss. All right, I can set it right below this support line, because if it blows below the support line, obviously we're going to go down to the next correction. So you'll know where to set a stop loss to where you're not going to get fucked over. So those are the things I want to teach you. In the next one, we're going to go over flow again. I don't want to keep throwing 10 billion things at you guys today, but hopefully you guys learned a lot from this. Hopefully you guys are at the money options the less. Yes, they're the less. If you buy a money in the or a call in the money, it has a lot less options to it because it's got the value attached to it on top of time. If you get one out of the money, there's no money value attached to it until it hits in the money. So technically the only thing that's attached to it is time, which makes it a risk. So they pay you bigger rewards and it's cheaper, but it's also a gamble compared to you buying something that already is in the money, that already has the value to back it. Now you have the value and the time, so the risk is not there. And on top of that, what you gain, your delta is a lot higher because now you're more attached. If you're in the money, you're more attached to what the stock does. But since you have the value, that means that your theta is going to be 0 or it's going to be insanely low compared to out of the money. You're going to have more theta because you need to get that value attached to it. And it gets riskier by the second until that value gets attached to the time. So I hope that makes sense. But hopefully you guys learned something. Like I said, this is just day one, base one. Just wanted you guys to see these things visually. Now you know what I'm looking at. All these people that he has no idea what he's doing. He's just looking at... No, I know what I'm doing. It took me a while to figure it out, but I now know what I'm doing. Data matters, man. It does. Like, there's no way around it. Data matters a lot. And again, you guys have access in my Discord to all of this data. You can ask me questions whenever you want. I am always in there. Oh, I'm in there. I'm in there every day. I can't say I'm always in there, but I am in there every day. So, people ask me questions. I said, anytime I'm awake, I like to give them. See, I'll post data. Somebody can ask. I'll give them my opinion. I'll tell them every single thing I see about that. I'll explain everything I'm looking at. Just because what I'm seeing doesn't mean I'm correct also. So there's always risk attached. But if you can read what I'm reading, then, like I said, guys, we can make money together. What more can we ask for? So, well, it looks like not very many people were interested in this video, which is kind of crazy. This was my least watched video I've ever done. Like I said, people want to complain about making money, but then they don't want to take the time to watch or learn or listen. Guys, it's not going to be easy. You're not just going to pick a stock because one guy says it and it's going to hit, every fucking time. But like I said, guys, I just want us to improve, grow together, learn together. And I got to get going here, though. Me and the wifey's got to get running. If you guys have any questions, obviously always ask me on Discord, ask me on Twitter, ask me whenever.
For people that don't want to do any of this, don't care at all, I post all my plays on my Twitter. It's $5, a whole 5 whopping bucks. People wanted to cry about it, but guess what? People make it back within 5 seconds. They make it back and more within 1 day. So again, I'll post on my calls here. Those Roblox calls, we hit 64 yesterday. That was pretty sweet. Let's go. Man, a lot of our calls today went in the money, but I expect a lot of them to go in more. Uber calls were great. Those lace calls, these sucked. These lace calls sucked. So I mean, our archers killed it. I mean, that's the thing. Like that, you're gonna miss. And the thing I don't want is somebody to come in there and try on one stock and maybe we miss and he's like, "Fuck, I'm never doing this again." You're gonna miss. Everyone misses. Even Nancy Pelosi misses. It's all about learning why we missed. What happened? Where did we go wrong? Did news come out? Did an offering come out? Was there bad earnings? News will always trump a stock. A stock's chart setup every time. Every time. Been crushing it since joining the Discord. Let's go. That's what I'm saying, man. These last couple weeks, whether you liked me before, hated me before, dude, get over it. Let's fucking just make money together at this point. Let's learn what everybody should have showed us all 3 or 4 fucking years ago. But, all right, I got to get going. I got to go get Lil Man. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate y'all, and have a good day.